even in a progressive relationship, people can still end up doing some of those traditional roles. I think the difference is in the progressive relationship, you don't just expect your partner to do whatever. Like there's communication. I think that's all it comes down to. You can do traditional things. Like I was always the one that grilled in a lot of my relationships, but it wasn't just I was expected to grill. It was a conversation of like, hey, do you know how to grill? And the answer was always no. And I was like, well, I can teach you. I can grill. We can do both at the same time. And that's usually what it came down to. I've had some exes that were very interested in learning how to grill. They actually grilled a few things themselves, but it's just a thing comes down to expectation. I think that's where a lot of the traditional stuff comes into. There's these guys that just expect like my wife will do the laundry, she will cook, she will clean, she'll rub my feet, she'll when I throw my boots down all dirty, she'll clean them up and make sure they're by the door. They just expect all this shit.
Relationships. This nation is a very progressive nation, right? Especially when it comes into relationships. Like people, and what I mean by that is like, why in relationships why does it default to the traditional ways? Like the man takes charge of stuff, the man makes sure the house is good. Even with us in this nation being progressive, and couples saying, yo, 50-50, we both put in our shares or whatever, some way, somehow, it defaults to the old traditional ways. Is that something that we can never let go? Because it's just engraved in it. And everybody, even newer age couples, like they, you know what I mean? Like some way, somehow, it defaults back to the old ways. That's something that we just can't get rid of? Is it like the man thing, like a sexist type thing? Like what is it? Like why can't it not get rid of it? Why we cannot get rid of the old tradition and move forward?
I was waiting on you, Pooch. You said you had a response to it.
No, well, I kind of disagree with the question. So I don't think that. I mean, probably in most couples, I would say that we tend to default to like tradition, but I don't think all couples are like that. Shit, I cook dinner half of the days of the week. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, that in and of itself is like, oh, the man's not supposed to cook, Like, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think I've ever been in a traditional relationship. I've lived alone a very, very long time. So I cook, I clean, I do all the things. I've never been in a relationship where like my partner was unemployed for any significant amount of time and I was the only breadwinner or anything like that. I have tended to typically date people that are not making, the same amount of money as me, but I don't know if that counts or not, but yeah, I don't think I've been in a lot of traditional relationships. I've been in relationships that have some aspects of traditional relationships though, like a partner that prefers to cook. So like I'm cooking 3 of the meals a week rather than like all the meals of the week or something like that,
It'll be a lot harder for you, especially because you are single and you've been living on your own. So obviously anybody, male or female or whatever, has to provide for themselves, whether it's cooking or they go out and get their own meals or whatever. They got to wash their own clothes and shit. But like somebody like in a relationship, like I've been in a relationship for a long ass time. So it's just like, so has Pucho. Certain shit gets, like duties or whatever gets just thrown out. So it's just, sometime in the progressive state, like, like Pucho, he cooks 3 times or 4 times a week. Pucho also loves to cook and make new recipes and shit, right? And it's not like it doesn't work. But Lisi also loves to cook too, his wife and stuff. So
she hates cooking.
She
makes good food.
She makes great food though.
They claim that the food gets better if there's emotion in it. So she's putting all that hate of cooking into that food.
Shout out to Lisi's breakfast sandwiches, my nigga. She makes the best breakfast sandwiches.
Shout out to those fucking plantains,
I put love
man.
into my food. She puts hate into the food. And either way, the emotion is infused in the meal.
That's crazy.
That's fire. That's a way to spin a positive. Okay, Mateo.
Good shit, Mateo. That's crazy.
Her food is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
She fucking hates cooking. She's tired of it.
You guys made burritos. The one night I was there, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, they made burritos. I never had their burritos.
The best thing is
Fire.
that Doughy probably made his own burrito.
I
Like,
I made it myself. Yeah.
What the
So we
fuck?
just made a bunch of ingredients.
Oh, okay. So he put it. Oh, I got it. I was like, all right. That makes sense.
I just thought it was funny.
But no, yeah, like I guess it's just like people find a way to default. Like I've noticed that. Like it's not just in my relationship, but in other people's relationship. I just like they both make almost the same amount, but it's like, hey, you doing this and I'm doing this, or the guy,
I mean,
what?
I feel like we default to what we know, right? And I feel like at our core, what do we know about relationships? And I think that's what we try to, when you say it always goes back, I think when you do that, you're just defaulting to what you know and the structures that you know of that
you
work.
grew up with?
Yeah, that kind of work. I think relationships are kind of hard. I don't think that old Eurocentric vision of marriage is really gonna be around for much longer. I think, you know what I mean? Like, I think just two people saying that they want to be with each other is enough. But I think I would like personally to have a traditional relationship.
I was gonna say you are probably the most traditional out of anyone on the podcast, which has always surprised me. With some of the other things you said, it's always kind of surprised me that you're the most traditional. Which is, you're also fairly progressive. So I am curious, like how do you bring those two together in your mind, in your life, and practice?
I've only dated people who are like traditionalists. I haven't met somebody that is outside of what I would do normally in a relationship. So I have yet to, maybe I find, maybe I'm poly-do,
Add that to my next intro, aka poly-do.
Poly-do. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we're talking about polyamorous stuff. We're just
It always goes back to some sexual shit.
No, like even though there are some things that we just default to though, like if there were, say, a lot of heavy rocks that just needed to get lifted, my wife is just like, yeah, this is Pucho's doing this one.
That's a job.
That's a Pucho job.
That's you know what's funny though too? Like I could see Lacey saying that, but then like let's say I'm there and be like, oh, and I just hit Lacey with like a little attack, like, oh, I thought you were strong. She might be like, you know what? Yeah, I'll fucking do it. I'm gonna show you. Like she'll prove like I can do it just as well. You know what I mean? Like people, like even though like Pucho said, like if someone just hits that button, like, yo, I thought you're not independent or whatever, they'll do it just to prove you wrong. But it's a natural default. Like Pucho said, he can do that. Like who takes
she's gonna run outside and lift the rock to show you that she could do it and still go, but Pucho, this is still for you. You gotta go lift those rocks.
Oh no, you gotta do them all. Do them all just to prove me wrong. But yeah. No, it is a default. And there's nothing wrong with it, right? If some relationship works, there's nothing wrong with it. But even people who are progressive, it's just like, ask yourself, right? Anybody who's watching the show right now, you're in a relationship. Who's the breadwinner? Are you both breadwinners? And what duties are split? Because you know what duties are split. Is it the woman doing the dishes and the man's cooking the food, or vice versa? Who's throwing out the trash? Who's doing the yard work? You know what I'm saying? Like, ask yourself that. So whoever's listening and you can see like, yeah, we're progressive, but you're doing all the non-progressive things like how it was. You know what I mean? So it's just weird.
I've got some general like rules in my little household, right? Like if someone cooks, you should probably wash the dishes, right? Doesn't matter who cooks, the other person should probably wash the dishes. That's always like the considerate
super
thing.
fair. Yeah.
For me.
I fucking hate washing dishes.
I fucking hate it. Me too, man. Hand washing dishes is my least favorite thing in the world.
Put it in the fucking dishwasher. That's why it's there.
Oh, you're one of those people?
Yeah, I use technology, Tony.
No. All right. All right. So do you do a pre-wash before you put the dishes in the
Let
dish?
Mateo go down his
Yeah,
list.
go ahead.
There's a pre-rinse for sure, Tony. But
You have to
Because
pre-rinse.
there's some
Always
people
pre-rinse.
there's people that don't believe in pre-rinse.
But yeah, laundry in my so my relationships have been longer term, and we've shared a residence. Have tended to be whoever's doing laundry. If you're doing laundry, toss in some of my clothes. If I'm doing laundry, I'll toss in some of your clothes. Like that seems to be the even way to do it. Let's try to get 50-50 mix of my clothes and your clothes in that washer. Unless you got some special requirements with your laundry. Like I know some people that actually sort by colors and whites and things like that. I don't do that. All my laundry goes in one pile, boom, into the washer.
You mix your colors with the whites?
100%, dude.
Damn, that just sounded so bad how I said that. Clothing wise, but yeah, like why? All right, so who invented that shit, right? Because I mean, is it just like not mixing the white with the colored shirts? Like who, like who the fuck said that this is a rule? I mean, there is reasoning why, right? But who came up with this shit? Because why can't a black shirt and a white shirt not be washed at the same time? Because you want to
all at the same time, all the time.
Does it fade
faster
or something?
I think there's two reasons. One, I think, and maybe it's not even the case today as much, but maybe it's just something that used to happen a lot. But like, if you wash this blue shirt, some amount of the blue dye is gonna wash out of that shirt. If that then goes on a white shirt, then you're gonna stain that white shirt slightly blue. Like, obviously, it may take many washes for something like that to happen. But for sure, if you threw like a fresh pair of denim jeans in the washing machine with a white shirt, that shit's coming out blue. Is
Doughy's shirt today so white that if he threw it in with some black pants, it would actually make the pants gray instead of making the shirt gray?
It's a possibility.
Yeah. Then the other reason is I don't do this anymore. But back in the day, my mom, we used to use a bleach when we used to like wash our clothes. Wait, is it bleach? We have some
on
Clorox.
The whites.
That's bleach, right?
Yes.
You would throw like Clorox in the washing machine to stain all that white shirt. It's like whiter again. You know what I mean? If you threw fucking bleach on a colored shirt, it'll turn it like pink or purple or something.
So destroy.
Now I will admit I'm a laundry idiot. There's a lot of settings on my washer and my dryer that I don't know what the hell those are for. Like what is that press one that's on the dryer? I don't know what that is. I've never used it. I don't know what that press setting is for.
So the press, if I'm not mistaken, is like ironing your shirt. It'll leave it wrinkleless, or wrinkle free, and then you'll be able to just take it out and hang it. If I'm not mistaken, but no,
what is the point of the tumble setting where it does no heat and it just tumbles your clothes? When do you use that? Don't know.
You use that when you're like, yo, I'm gonna be doing some things, and I might not be able to get back to my dryer in the right when the load is done. So you'll set the tumble setting so that it could still kind of spin your clothes for a half hour. Because if the clothes stop and settle, they'll start to get wrinkled up. I think that's the intent of that. It's like it's a wrinkle prevention.
Interesting. Learning things every day.
Facts, bro. Yeah, it's like that shit's, and also too, fabric softener and all this shit. Like for color clothes, you want those like certain soaps, I guess, that keeps the color. Like they got like a black tea soap that keeps the black tea black, like it doesn't fade too. So I mean, yeah, it's weird. But back to the maybe that's why, not sexist, maybe that's why some females are better at washing clothes than men, because we don't give a fuck. We just throw shit in there, right? Like Mateo, I don't separate shit. I just all chuck them in there.
Everything in one pile.
I recently got Tide Pods, and I totally get it why those people were biting into them. Those things look tasty as fuck.
You bit into it?
No.
You bit into it?
No.
He licked it a little bit.
I wanted to.
You sniffed it though, right?
I definitely sniffed it.
You put it a little close to your mouth, like I could eat this.
Mm-hmm. And
I watched someone eat that shit. It looked like he started breathing fire. Like that shit does not look good to eat. Like it looks like it'll fuck you up.
And it's crazy because they say one of those pods or those Tide Pods do the whole load. I used to dump 2 in the bitches in my clothing. Like I'll just throw 2 just to make sure that everything gets enough soap. But
No, it tells you on the bag now. 1 for like a regular load, 2 for a larger load, and 3 for a really big load. A heavy
To
load.
3.
This guy's
I've,
sick.
I've definitely put too much soap into a washer before and had like bubbles flood my little like washing area.
Also,
You know why we default to fucking rules, okay? Is when I put too much soap in the fucking mop, okay? And then your floor is all like, you're sticking all over the floor. Once it starts, you'd be like, oh, the house smells good. The mop was so wonderful. Everything was good. And then once the floor starts to dry, you start stepping on it and you're sticking to the floor. Then you got to go back with just fresh water to like wash more soap away. And it's like, all right, maybe I'm not built for this mopping game. Like, I got to really think about how much Fabuloso to put in this fucking bucket, all right?
it's like
Not since
Go ahead.
you put me onto the O-Cedars. Wow. My life has been changed.
You doubted me, too.
What's
You
the
were
old
going
sentence?
against
Doubted.
me.
What's that?
Yeah.
What's the OC?
Go ahead,
Cedars?
Pucho.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pucho.
It's a mop brand. It's a mop bucket thing. Has this weird contraption. It's like a salad spinner for your mop heads.
Oh, okay.
So like you could wet the mop and then you put it in this thing and you step on this I don't know what the fuck, like a foot thing, like, you know, like you open your trash can with it. I feel like an idiot right now. I feel like I'm missing a word from my vocabulary, but you step down on this button or whatever and it spins and all the water comes out of the mop head. But it's just a really good mop, and then you could just you could change out the mop heads, so you could buy replacement mop heads, or you could even throw the mop head in the washer to kind of clean it again, so you could get more uses out of your mop.
Tony, to get us back on track, I think that even in a progressive relationship, people can still end up doing some of those traditional roles. I think the difference is in the progressive relationship, you don't just expect your partner to do whatever. Like there's communication. I think that's all it comes down to. You can do traditional things. Like I was always the one that grilled in a lot of my relationships, but it wasn't just I was expected to grill. It was a conversation of like, hey, do you know how to grill? And the answer was always no. And I was like, well, I can teach you. I can grill. We can do both at the same time. And that's usually what it came down to. I've had some exes that were very interested in learning how to grill. They actually grilled a few things themselves, but you know, it's just a thing comes down to expectation. I think that's where a lot of the traditional stuff comes into. There's these guys just expect like my wife will do the laundry, she will cook, she will clean, she'll rub my feet, she'll when I throw my boots down all dirty, she'll clean them up and make sure they're by the door. They just expect all this shit.
I need a foot rub.
That was the only one that I was really interested in. I was like, man, if I could get some foot rubs around here, I'd be in heaven.
Yo, the whole boot thing though, that I don't know why that feels so old school to me.
That one's
like
super
when I
old
was
school.
a kid, I remember my dad when he used to come into the house, he'd like kick his shoes off, lay in bed, and he'd ask us to take his socks off, and we'd be all excited because you know it's our
That's
dad and all
beast.
this shit. But he's some stinky ass feet. Like it's been in a shoe all day. I gotta take your sock off. Like shit's crazy.
That's disgusting now that I think about it. But yeah,
You experienced this, right, Tom?
yeah.
My dad was a truck driver. We would take his cowboy boots off every day after he got home, or his big work boots off.
That's wild.
And it's like, my kids might do that for me because that sounds nice. I might be like, yo, take my socks off, yo. Just take them off, all right? Do me that fucking solid, please.
The kid's like, oh, it smells. Yeah, it's okay. Just
I worked all day. You should be happy. Daddy's here. Just take my socks off.
give me this solid.
$10 a month though, and you can see Tony take his boots off on his OnlyFans anytime
Wow.
you want.
Wow, $10 a month. That's pretty
And if you
cheap.
send a $50 donation, he'll mail the sock to you.
That from that episode or from that
that
showing,
episode, yeah.
you'll get that
From that
same
moment.
sock. I'll even give you a signature right on the sock. But no, yeah, I do think it's definitely a communication thing. I would agree.
So I think Mateo hit it on the head though. Like I think it does have to do with, like you're saying, the communication. The is this just an expectation, or are we, making a conscious effort to kind of keep our roles a little open? Like, you know what I mean? Like, when me and my wife first got together, she did cook, like, as a default thing. Like, we didn't really, like, discuss that too much. It was just something that she just started doing, and then our relationship took off that way. And then over the years, I started cooking more often. And, among other things. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
And
I
also,
think early on, you're going to default to just what the people want to do in that relationship. But I think given time and as you guys get closer or whatever, just to make sure like you keep those options open. You don't want people to feel like they're locked into a role or whatever. But.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, be supportive if your partner's doing something that they have not done before, but you need help, I guess, with, you know what I mean? Maybe they're cooking dinner. It's not the greatest dinner in the world, but they tried. You got to kind of put an E for effort on there and dug it out.
It's like when the teeth touch the dick, you just got to be happy you're getting a blowjob. You can't just like complain,
I mean, that's the risk of going to the glory hole, man. You don't know what the skill level of the other person on the other side is.
That might be the biggest turn on now. That's why people do that shit. Probably it's like, yo, you don't know what you're gonna get, and if you get it great, you hope you get it again.
Random braces appeared. You're just like, fuck.
Yikes.
Ugh. Would you? Go ahead.
I've got a question. Do y'all think that y'all could be stay-at-home dads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, does my kid go to daycare?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But would you miss working? I feel like I would not know what to do with myself. I feel like I would burn myself out on video games so quick. Or
No, because you got to do stuff at the house too, though. So,
and especially like being like like the dedicated caregiver in one of those like traditional kind of relationship. That seems exhausting, man. It seems so exhausting to just have one person that's just like, this is what you do.
I clean a little bit. My wife walks in. The food is done. We're gonna put it on the table. Take her shoes off. Take her socks off. My wife's like, dude, make it happen. Let's do it.
no, yeah.
No. In all actuality, I'm just fucking around. I couldn't do it. I don't like cleaning enough. I hate it way too fucking much to have that as my fucking job. And then, like you said, I burned myself out on TV, movies, video games. Like I would be dead.
I think you'll be doing.
I think that being like the stay-at-home person too, like there's so many extra expectations that go along with that you're putting in way more than the 40 hours a week that I would ever put into my job.
I don't know, man. I think I don't know. Me growing up, I was at my mom's dad's house. I was doing the dishes. I was doing the laundry. I was doing the fucking mopping because my sister couldn't do any of that because she was the princess. I couldn't. I had to do everything, right? So, like I like just having shit clean, so I don't mind it. Like I like walking into my room and I know if something's been moved or touched because I know where everything needs to be at.
Did you get extra money though because you did all those chores?
What?
No, you didn't get any like extra allowance for doing all the chores. I thought that's how you afforded Sonic 1 through 20.
No, I worked. I actually worked. I was young working at a Christmas tree stand, helping my dad, and I used to get tips. And that's how I got my money. But no, yeah, I don't think it'll be a big. I wouldn't mind being a stay-at-home dad. I mean, if the kids are at daycare, that'd be a clutch. But if not, then yeah, you're not gonna have enough time to do certain things like video games or movies or whatever the fuck you want to do. You won't have much time.
The cleaning and the cooking and all that usually goes along with that.
Well, no, yeah, you have to do the cleaning when the kid's sleeping or in his little playpen area until he or she gets tired of it.
It sounds stressful. Props to the stay-at-home moms out there. That shit sounds way more exhausting than anyone actually thinks that it is.
And dads. There's dads out there.
And the stay-at-home dads too, yeah.
No, absolutely. Nobody yells more than a Spanish mother that's been working all day and comes home and you haven't taken out the meat. Wow. You're a piece of shit. And then you try to do
You deserve every bit of that belt, okay?
You know what? You know what? My mom would tell me to take the chicken out to defrost, and then I would get radio silence from her. And there were 20 different kinds of chicken in that freezer, and I didn't know which one she actually wanted defrosted.
Yeah, that sucks too.
Yeah, you pull out the wrong ones. You're like, what an idiot! Why you didn't ask me which one? Like, well, I tried. But no, yeah, that's not bad. Like a lot of people would have problems, like with whoever staying home and not being a breadwinner, even though defaultly it would be the wife or the woman to stay home and be that, the house mom. Or
Traditionally,
traditionally, that's yeah. Nowadays, it doesn't matter. Anybody can be as long as there's communication. Like Mateo said earlier, like it can work out.
Yeah, when I achieve premium Jewish status after I go to the rabbi, get my rabbi counsel, get myself a nice Jewish girl, maybe my days of working will be over.
Wait, why?
Because she's rich.
Oh, you're hoping that's a rich girl. Okay.
Oh, okay.
She's Jewish, obviously.
So all Jewish people are rich?
A majority.
I wonder if that's true.
I am so curious if that statistic is true. I feel like it's not.
Yeah.
That's a wild claim. But I'm
Doughy,
interested.
Is your circumcision going to be on your OnlyFans?
I am not getting circumcised.
What do you mean? You have to.
Never. I'll never get circumcised.
You
My
can't
son.
That's the whole joke here. Why
It's
you going to
not
the
gonna-
rabbi?
You can't join the tribes of Abraham if you're not getting circumcised.
I forgot about that. They're gonna make me get circumcised.
Yeah, hammerheads only,
100%.
bro.
You want to have
They
that rich?
got a big sign out
mind.
front with an anteater on it. It's got an X through it.
Shut the
No,
fuck
no,
up,
thank
Mateo.
you. I don't think I can do that. I rescind my Jewish nomination.
What an idiot.